Vamos, brothers, this is your boy JT, and welcome back to another episode of South Stand Signings, the series. Of course, we go through everything happening in and around the world of Leeds United. And we have a little talk about it, and boy, today is spicier than the hottest cayenne pepper known to worldkind. Today, the news is coming thicker than an avalanche in Snowdon. Oh my lord, this is going to be popping off. There is so much to get our teeth dug into. There's a lot of departures news, a lot of incomings news. Oh my lord, let's get straight into the meat of the action. Bang! And the first story is coming by way of Jesse Marsch. Jesse Marsch, Meister General III, and this is a scary one. A very, very scary one if you are a fan of Jesse Marsch, if you want him to stay at the club, because there has been a lot of stories coming out over the past 24 hours about Jesse Marsch's future at Leeds. First one to do with Ounahi and why that might be stalling a little bit, but then we've got contradicting stories coming up later to do with that one. And then some stories coming around about the behind the scenes at Leeds United. And this one is a scary one. The news has dropped over the past 24 hours that Leeds United senior players have been going up to the board and telling them to sack Jesse Marsch. Wow, 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 W-O-W. This is bad. This is bad. No matter what way you think about Jesse Marsch, this kind of divide between the players and the board and the club and the manager, this kind of divide is never a good thing in a football club, and this spells the end for Jesse Marsch for me. If these are proven to be true, these are obviously alleged, but with all the numerous amount of stories that we're going to cover, it does seem like this is true. Leeds have dropped to 14th after a disastrous 2-1 defeat to Villa, in which Jesse Marsch actually came out and said it's the best performance he's seen all year, which I'm not sure what he's watching. I'm not sure what kind of Stevie Wonder vision he's got going on, what kind of Danny Rose tinted glasses he's wearing, but that was certainly not the best performance this season. But I digress anyway. It is coming out that they've basically gone behind the board and gone up to the owners. Which owners they've gone up to, which board members they've gone up to, I don't know, because there's a lot of stories going around today about the 49ers pushing their interest, more about Azzedine scouting out Italian clubs for himself to buy. So who they actually went up to and spoke about these concerns with, how much Jesse Marsch was a 49ers signing as opposed to a Azzedine signing, I don't know. It's such an interesting story to look at. Here is that story about Azzedine looking at buying an Italian club after Leeds. So it does look like that 49ers deal is going through. The QSI deal apparently doesn't have too much legs to it, unfortunately. It is very, 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 very sad and very, very scary. Now, and here is an extract from an article that was released again today, talking about some more drama backstage between the players and the manager, and a falling out that happened last September even. 6 months on from that moment when Marsch indicates some players wanted to go rogue or try new tactics, puts us in mid-September. I mean, that's already starting off shaky. Players coming out and questioning the tactics, saying they want to go rogue, try their own tactics. What's going on there, mate? That would be following a dire defeat away at Brentford, in which Leeds lost 5-2, and somewhere in the month-long hiatus from games after the Queen died. That is right. That obviously, that 5-2 defeat happened. We then had a massive break from football. And that seems like a time in which the tides really started to turn against the manager. Marsch continued discussing how he handled the situation. Now, this is very interesting. A direct quote from him. And then sometimes I had to step in and say, okay, like, I appreciate you guys saying what you think, but then there's how we do things. If you act selfishly, then this is the way I have to respond. We have to hold each other to standards and make sure that at any moment there is no freedom to just do whatever you want. I think that's a rather reasonable explanation to throw out, and a rather, professional way of handling things. However, the fact that early into his tenure he had to resort to such measures to handle things, the fact that was that low confidence that early into his tenure in his first season at Leeds United, especially after signing quite a few of his own players, I don't know. And it would be very interesting to see if some of his players, the Tyler Adamses, the Brendan Aronsons, were some of the ones that did turn to him and question his tactics, or was it the Jack Harrisons of the world who have really struggled to get game time since this moment, whereas players like Brendan Aronson, who he's obviously a big fan of, did he stay stum? And is that the reason why, despite poor performances, he's starting every single week? These whole stories start to add a whole new layer of depth to understanding what has been going on at Leeds this season. It is mental. It is crazy. And I really do think the writing is on the wall for Jesse Marsch. Now, I'm never someone that's ever going to call for any manager's head. I'm not that kind of guy. I don't celebrate the demise of any man in any walk of life. But it does seem like it is that point of no return now for Jesse Marsch. Now, and speaking of the point of no return, Ounahi's club president plane might be at the point of no return away from Leeds Bradford Airport. That is right. According to L'Equipe, on the 17th of January, club president Saeed Shabani travelled to England yesterday on Monday the 16th of January to meet with a club that had submitted a bid for Ounahi that surpassed that of the previous front runners, Napoli. The report stated that the Premier League club has made a superior offer, but it was not the previously linked Leicester City. And this is very interesting because who were the two English clubs in for Ounahi? Well, it was Leicester and it was Leeds United. Those were the two clubs in for him. It's not Leicester. So he's basically guaranteeing here that it is Leeds United. And what do we know about Leeds United's bid? Well, we know that Leeds United have upped their bid from 22 million euros up to 26 million euros, which makes them the front runners for Ounahi, and that is confirmed here. According to 90 Minutes, Leeds United have offered a 25 million euro bid. Now, Napoli, on the other hand, who have bid for him, have only bid 15 million euros, so we've absolutely gazumped them. And the owner is over here, or rather the president is over here to discuss things with Leeds United. Now, obviously, this is contradicting the stories that I've heard today also, that we're putting Ounahi on the back burner because we're deciding what we're going to do with Marsch or not, which is what I was saying before about how we really should have made this decision on Marsch before the end of the international break, before the start of the transfer window, because then you're kiboshing some of the moves that you're trying to make, and then you're potentially bringing in players that the next manager after that wouldn't like, etc, etc. It just muddies things up a whole heap. Now, in other news, Leeds United defender Cody DRAMEH looks like he could be away from Leeds United, or on his way away from Leeds United, as he is unlikely to feature in the FA Cup clash against Cardiff. And this news obviously comes after yesterday's under-21 game against West Brom, in which Cody DRAMEH featured the entire 90 minutes. Now, this is not something that you would do if you were going to play a player in a senior game just 2 days after. The same goes for Perkins and Joe Joseph, who also featured the entire 90 minutes and don't look like they are going to feature, which means Leeds are going to be going for a very strong lineup against Cardiff, which is quite inspiring at some points. And it's clearly Jesse Marsch going for broke with everything that's going on recently, trying to get some sort of cash in the bank and some sort of cup run or something going for him. But will it work out? I don't know. And this, again, is why I said he made a fatal mistake when he dropped all those players against Wolves, because if he hadn't, and Leeds had beaten Forest, and they'd been now in a semi-final of the FA Cup, then Jesse Marsch's job would look a lot more safe, because you don't sack a manager who's got you to a semi-final of FA Cup and could potentially get you to the final. So he's made a massive error in that Wolves game, I think, and it could be the demise from him. And I'm quite annoyed that he's not going to be playing DRAMEH, and if we do lose DRAMEH, for me, it's a massive, massive loss. Massive, massive, massive loss. In other news, Jesse Marsch reveals fresh Leeds United injury concern and starting striker thoughts for Cardiff. Now, what is the injury concern that the injury concern he's obviously talking about is the returning Colombian Luis Sinistra, who apparently will not be featuring in the squad despite training yesterday. He came out and said Luis trained yesterday and has potential to be in the squad, but it doesn't look like that he is going to be featuring. He may feature for about 10 to 15 minutes at the end, if that, but possibly not, because hopefully Leeds will have the game wrapped up by then and there won't be any need to risk him, and I don't see him starting that soon for Leeds United. But those are the big stories of today. Let me know what you guys think about them down in the comment section down below. Do you think Jesse Marsch's days are numbered at Leeds United? Do you think Ounahi will come over, or do you think it's all going to be stalled as we figure out what we're doing with Jesse Marsch? Let me know down in the comment section down below. But for now, guys, I will see you very, very soon. Au revoir, my brothers and my sisters.